Long before the year of return, African descendants were already coming back. Not as tourists, not as dreamers, but as people displaced by slavery, shaped by foreign worlds, returning to a continent that no longer knew them and that they barely recognized. Across West Africa, these returnees would build new societies, new languages, new hierarchies. They would become the Krio of Sierra Leone, the Americo Liberians of Liberia, the Saro of Nigeria, and others history rarely names. This is the story of the Africans who fled and returned to build nations. The Atlantic slave trade scattered Africans across the world, but it also created something less discussed, a return route. By the late 1700s and early 1800s, freed Africans, some liberated, some resettled, some relocated by force, were being sent back to West Africa. They didn't return to their ancestral villages, they returned to ports. And at those ports, entirely new African identities were born. Sierra Leone became one of the earliest destinations for repatriated Africans. Formerly enslaved people from Britain, Nova Scotia, and Jamaica were settled in Freetown, many of them black loyalists who had fought for the British during the American Revolutionary War. They arrived with English names, Christian faith, Western education, and fragmented memories of Africa. Out of this mix emerged the Krio people. Krio culture blended African traditions with British influence. Their language, Krio, fused English vocabulary with African grammar and rhythm, becoming one of the most widely understood languages in West Africa. But return did not mean reunion. Many Krio saw themselves as modern and civilized, distinct from, and sometimes superior to, surrounding ethnic groups. The result was cultural distance, social tension, and a complicated sense of belonging. Sierra Leone showed the world something new. Africans could return home and still feel foreign. Sierra Leone emerged, but Liberia was engineered. In the early 1800s, freed black Americans were sent to West Africa to establish a black republic. They became known as Americo Liberians. They brought America with them. American names, American churches, American clothing, and American systems of governance. Though they were black and many had been enslaved, they arrived as settlers, not as equals. Americo Liberians dominated politics, land ownership, and trade, while indigenous Liberians were excluded from power in their own homeland. Liberia became independent in 1847, but independence did not mean unity. Return here created a ruling class and a division that would shape Liberian society for generations. Liberia forces an uncomfortable truth. Returning to Africa didn't automatically undo colonial thinking. Sometimes, it reproduced it. Not all returnees stayed where they first landed. Some moved again. The Saro people were largely descendants of repatriated Africans from Sierra Leone who migrated to coastal Nigeria, settling in Lagos, Abeokuta, and Badagry. They became teachers, missionaries, administrators, and traders. Educated, English-speaking, and Christian, the Saro played a major role in shaping early colonial Nigeria, especially in education and urban life. But their position was fragile. They were seen as outsiders by many local communities, yet never fully accepted by Europeans. The Saro lived between two worlds, African by blood, Atlantic by culture. Their story reveals that return is not a destination, it's a process. But the Atlantic return didn't only come from Britain or America. Some Africans came back speaking Portuguese, praying in Catholic churches, carrying Brazilian names. In the 1800s, formerly enslaved Africans returned from Brazil and Cuba to West Africa. They became known as Aguda in Benin and Nigeria, Tabom in Ghana. They settled in cities like Lagos, Ouidah, Porto Novo, and Accra. Afro-Brazilians introduced Brazilian architecture, new trades and craftsmanship, Catholic institutions, and Lusophone surnames. Their presence reshaped coastal West Africa, yet their story is often erased because it doesn't fit an English-speaking narrative of return. They remind us that Africa's reconnection to its diaspora was multilingual, multicultural, and deeply complex. These returnees didn't revive old African societies, they created new ones. Creole identities, Krio, Americo Liberian, Saro, and the Afro-Brazilian were not accidents. They were survival strategies, born from displacement, forged through adaptation, defined by negotiation. They lived at the crossroads of Africa and the Atlantic world, never fully one, never fully the other.